Are you aware of the government reported in response to a question tabled by a member in the House of Commons that for work on Arrivecan, a company called Think On Inc. received a $1.2 million contract. Were you aware of that?
Again, I cannot comment. I was not part of that, and I was not aware of that.
You weren't aware?
No.
Okay.
Witness wasn't prepared for the questions that Michael Barrett asked. GC Strategies was the company that subcontracted the work done on Arrivecan. $9 million spent between the 100-plus versions that never worked. Please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and most of all, comment down below. Here's the clip.
To GC Strategies, Mr. Firth, how many employees do you have?
We have 2 employees, myself and my business partner.
Okay. And your contract with the Government of Canada lists your work as a residential address. Is that correct? I don't need the address, but is that correct?
Yeah, we had physical location downtown from 2015 to 2020, and we now have home offices.
And without getting into your detailed CV, are you programmers or app designers yourselves?
Absolutely not. We are IT recruiters. We cut our teeth in the industry working for large staffing firms.
Okay.
And we decided to go out by ourselves.
So in this context, your work for the Government of Canada, you're the broker, the middleman between the government and the service provider. Is that correct?
Essentially, yeah. They would come to us with the requirements they ask for, and we facilitate that.
And what's the when we're talking about the full scope of this project, lots of publicly reported numbers, what is the commission for that intermediary, that middleman role? We're led to understand that it's 30%.
That would be at the very top end. Industry standards are anywhere from 15 to 30, depending on the skill set, the type of resource that is required.
Now, regarding the app, who approached who? So the Government of Canada reached out to you, and you did not reach out to them with respect to this contract. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And do you have a list of the department and the departmental officials who initiated that contact?
No, I do not. I thought I was here to testify. I do not have that with me right now.
Okay. Is that something that you'd, and so with respect to this question, is that something that you will undertake to provide to this committee in writing?
Within 48 hours, I could probably.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate that. Thank you. So today, right before I have a question about some news that was reported today, but I am curious about the total amount of money that your company received from the Government of Canada for the app, for the Arrivecan app.
For the specific component we were responsible for the application?
Yes.
Yep. So, GC Strategies we've invoiced about $44 million over the past 2 years for all of our federal work. Yep. With over 20 departments. But the component of the application, we were responsible for staffing, which included 2 years of support and maintenance and over 150 releases on 3 platforms. We will approximately build $4.5 million per year.
Okay. Today, the CEO of a company called Think On said that his company had nothing to do with Arrivecan. This is reported in the Globe and Mail, and it says, quote, "We have received no money from CBSA," and, quote, "We're not even remotely in that space," end quote. So our understanding is that your organization facilitated the design and build of this app and connected all the components. So what role did Think On play?
So first, sorry, Honourable Speaker, we are an IT staffing firm. We actually have no influence whatsoever in day-to-day activities or have any influence on how it's architected or how it's built. We provided a team that they asked for that designed a specific Arrivecan component. I cannot comment on anything outside of the bit that we were facilitating for the government.
Are you aware of the government reported in response to a question tabled by a member in the House of Commons that for work on Arrivecan, a company called Think On Inc. received a $1.2 million contract? Were you aware of that?
Again, I cannot comment. I was not part of that, and I was not aware of that.
You weren't aware?
No. Okay.
So in terms of the total cost of the app, when the government reported that $1.2 million was given there, does that cause you concern that they said that $1.2 million went to a company that now says they didn't receive $1.2 million?
The reality is, I'm I can only comment on what I was responsible for and what we engaged on. That's what I have knowledge of. I cannot comment on things that I wasn't part of.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And our concern here is to find out, if someone is saying that they were paid, that an organization was paid $1.2 million, and then that organization said that they didn't receive $1.2 million, that there's a lie there, and we've got to source that. We've got to figure that out. The committee passed a motion requiring documents to be turned over: a list of contractors, subcontractors, breakdown of costs, a list of contracts, all RFPs, invoices. Do you have that? Are you in receipt of that request for documents?
Well, sorry, we were contacted on Tuesday.
Okay.
And I think you have to have 5 days to even submit information,
Right.
which didn't fall in place. But we were never told we had to provide anything. We were just
Okay.
told that we had to be here for testimony.
Okay. Are you willing to provide the committee with the documents that I just referenced?
Well, my understanding was the government. You've asked the federal government to provide those for you.
Right, and so we find ourselves in a situation where we're checking people's homework. Unfortunately,
Okay.
the government's saying one thing, and now we're looking to the private sector to find out what was paid. And so things like total amount received from the government of Canada for the app, a number which you've referenced, that the names of all subcontractors, delivery partners, how much they were paid, deliverables, proof that some subcontractors have security clearances, and that all work was done in Canada. Is that information that you'd be able to provide to this committee?
And so I can speak on behalf of it right now. So
I'm afraid I'm going to have to interrupt, and we're going to go to our next round with Mr. Housefather, but I'm sure we can get back to it next round. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for coming. So if I understand this correctly, you are a company that does what many companies in the industry do, right? You don't retain employees on staff because you don't know what projects you're going to have. You have a large group of people that are experts in certain subject matters, and you assemble them for your clients when and if the client has a project. Would that be accurate to say?
that's accurate.
And is that and do many companies, including in the private sector, use firms like yours to develop large-scale applications like Arrivecan?
Yes, they do.
Perfect. And so when you are approaching, and let me start by asking, did any politician ever come to you and say, let's negotiate a contract, or was it always staff members?
So I'd just like to circle back to that initial phone call, just based on your staff size, and we've got 100% of the staff here. So someone, one of you gentlemen, took that call from the government, and I'm just very curious who was on the line and what their position was. Like that's critical information.
So again, I don't have that information right now. I mean, as I mentioned previously, we were already engaged and have been for a year prior to the pandemic, where we were providing similar sort of services to the CBSA. So whether it was a phone call or a conversation, they were engaged. They saw the team that we had. They saw that it was a similar skill set. They were available. They were Canadian cleared, and that's how it was spent.
So, and you've undertaken to provide that name to us. That's correct.
I said I will try my best to find it for you.
Thank you. So on your website, there's several endorsements from unattributed senior federal public servants, and they're quite glowing, to your credit, including a senior executive with the Government of Canada, VP Cloud Services, Major Crown Corp, Chief Information Officer, Government of Canada, Assistant Deputy Minister, Government of Canada, Chief Data Officer, Public Sector. Do you know who those officials are?
Not on me right now. I mean, these have been quotes that have been contributed to our website over 7 years since we started.
Okay. And would you be able to attribute those quotes in your submission, your written submission to the committee?
What was the purpose of this? Sorry, like why would that be necessary?
Oh, well, it's important for us to understand why how this relationship came to fruition.
Yep.
So
would it again? Absolutely. I mean, but the fact that we were working there for a year, that would be not sufficient. That we were working on similar sort of engagements.
Nope. The names of them would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. At no time did you have any contact with ministers' offices or members of cabinet in any of these calls?
Nope.
Do you know of any benefits or hospitality that was received by anyone working for the Government of Canada from any of your subcontractors or from your organization?
I don't know it.
Okay.
Perfect.
And does your in this contracting process and in the development of Arrivecan, was Alex Benet involved in the development implementation of this process?
No.
Do you have any to follow up on Mr. Housefather, do you or any of your subcontractors have any connections to the Liberal Party of Canada, Data Sciences, Inc.?
No.
Okay. Do you have any subcontracts with frontline officers who are employed concurrently with the Canada Border Service Agency?
No.
In scoping out that work, the Arrivecan app has over 615,000 reviews on the Apple App Store, which is unbelievable. I've completed one app review in my entire life, so I'm shocked by this. Were you ever asked by anyone in government to increase the number of reviews for the app?
No.
Have you ever, do you know of, or have any of your subcontractors ever purchased reviews for?
I don't know. Again, I'm not technical. I'm an IT staffing company.
But
I've never had conversations that
okay.
outlay that.
Do you know if any of your other apps have ever received 600,000 reviews in the App Store?
I can tell you they haven't.
Okay. Okay. In the case study section of your website, there's a link to a video about Arrivecan, but the video is now private. Are you able to provide the committee with that video?
Did it identify as private, or was it just not up there?
It identifies as private.
I can get back to you with that answer. I could give you an answer in writing.
Okay.
I don't have the answer to that right now.
Okay. And so how much time do I have left, Mr. Chair?
We have 1 minute.
Okay. So there were a number of documents that I referenced, and I appreciate you acknowledging that the request was from the committee to the government to provide that information. So what I'm asking, instead of seeking the committee to pass a motion ordering production of those documents, I'd like to request, and you can tell me if you receive this request or if I should proceed with seeking the will of the committee, and that's for proof that subcontractors' work was done in Canada, proof that some contractors have current security clearances, the deliverables that were asked of, how much everyone was paid, the names of all subcontractors and delivery partners that you worked with, and the total amounts you received from the Government of Canada for the app. And I would gladly provide that in writing just in case there's anything missing. Would you be able to provide that back to the committee in writing?
Well, first of all, I'm going to show you that all the approved resources are from reputable organizations, and they all hold valid security clearances. I know you used my word, but we do have NDAs in place and confidentiality agreements with all of our subcontractors. But at this time, I mean, I can't disclose them right now.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I would move that the committee request the production of those documents.
Are you going to move a specific motion?
I move that the committee request.
Okay, I'm just going to suspend your time. You've got about 3 seconds left, so you're suspended there.
Okay. Well,
go ahead, please, with the motion.
I move that the committee request the documents listed in the original production order to the government, including the total amounts received from the Government of Canada for the Arrivecan app, the names of all subcontractors and delivery partners that GC Strategies collaborated with, how much all entities were paid, what the deliverables were for work, proof that the subcontractors have current security clearances, and proof that subcontractors' work was done in Canada.